Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Welcome to our next session. Got our keynote speaker here today. Good friend of mine. Always glad to work with you and have you here. And our keynote speaker this morning is Mr. Joe Serio with a 360-degree dispatcher. And he's going to be talking on three superpowers guaranteed success to work and home. Good to have you, as always, my friend, and take it away.
Hello, hello. Great to see Roxy Van Gundy. If she's the first name that I see as I'm starting to talk, then I'm in good hands. Great audience. Okay, hey, listen, the other day I was on a flight and I was coming home and I put on Harry Potter and I watched that movie. And the thing that Dumbledore said, the great wizard Dumbledore said, it is not our abilities that show us who we truly are. It is our choices. It is not our abilities that show us who we truly are. It is our choices. And then I came home and I watched The Equalizer with Denzel Washington. And there was a quote in that movie that said, doubt is a killer. And while I'm watching Harry Potter and I'm watching The Equalizer, I'm thinking about Dare to Be Great. It is not our abilities that show us who we truly are. It is our choices. Doubt is a killer. And then I remembered a quote that a professor told me in graduate school in 1988. He said, don't confuse action and progress. Don't confuse motion and progress. Because so often we're moving, we're panicking, we're running on that hamster wheel, but we're not really getting anywhere, or we're not getting nearly as far as we could be. So all this was going through my head the other day as I'm traveling, and the question that we have is, what choices are we making? And it's a question I have to ask myself on a regular basis, and all of us really have to nail that down, is what choices are we making? We complain a lot that we don't have enough time. And at least 3/4 of every audience I speak to say they don't have enough time. It's like, okay, but when we dig in deeper and ask them what choices they're making, we find out that they're doing things they don't necessarily have to do. They're spending their time on low return activities. So I'm thinking about all that, and two things pop to mind. Number one, daring and greatness. Daring and greatness. As you think about daring and you think about greatness on this Dare to Be Great show, daring and greatness require action. So if you have a procrastination issue, if you have a perfectionism issue, think about how often do you wring your hands worrying about the possible outcomes, worrying about things that haven't happened yet, worrying about what might be, what might happen to you. And are you running with a 50-pound sack on your back, 100-pound sack on your back of memories, of past, of the narrative in your head? It makes it so much more difficult to think about greatness when we're just trying to get through the day. And it makes it much more difficult to dare. Because this is all scary stuff. This is all scary stuff. So I have a question for you. I don't need an answer for this, but I want you to, if you can, stop what you're doing for 10 seconds and lean into the screen. And I have one question for you. And it's a question I want you to think about when you leave today. The question is, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Have you been wringing your hands, wanting to do something, but scared of what other people are going to say? What are you waiting for? Conditions to be perfect? That never happens. What are you waiting for? How many years have already gone by and you haven't done what you know you really need to do because you're afraid? Because daring is scary. What are you waiting for? I know it seems like an obvious question, but it's a really central question. What are you waiting for? Nobody guaranteed you 80 years. No one guaranteed you 85 years. Trust me, I'm about to hit 60 years old. I wish I had my 20s back. I wish there were things I had done before that I waited till I was 40 and 50. What is it you think you're waiting for? Guess what? The naysayers never go away. The BS on social media never goes away. People criticizing you never goes away. Financial situation is always precarious. People who have a lot of money often have precarious situations. People who have no money have precarious situations. The factor here, the key factor, is your movement in a forward direction. So what are you waiting for? This is Dare to be Great. This is Dare to be Great. You know what? It sounds nice. The title is lovely. But when you think about it, it's scary as hell. What does it take for you to move yourself into things that you are afraid of? So one more thing before we get to the superpowers. This stays in my mind a lot. I watched Tom Clancy, who was the great novelist, spy novelist, and he was on an interview on CNN, and they had a call-in section. And a lady called in. She said, "Mr. Clancy, tell me how you get inspiration and what's the muse that you use to write, and you write a lot when you're inspired." And he's just like, "Lady, stop talking. This is ridiculous. Look, it doesn't work that way." He said, "I never wait for inspiration. I get up in the morning and I go to work. I get up in the morning, I sit down and I write. And then I have lunch, I do some research, I take a nap, I do more research, and the next morning I get up and I write." Which leads me to think about two words, and the words are passion and happiness. And these are two words that I've gotten to the point in my life where I hate these words. And I hear people talk all the time that I'm passionate about what I do. Shut up. Why? Because if you don't have the passion, I don't even want you to do your thing. If you're going to go after greatness, passion is a requirement. It's a requirement that I've never heard great people talk about. Why? Because they know it's an absolute necessity. They don't sit around telling their friends, "Well, I'm passionate about gardening and I'm passionate about..." They just do it. They just do it. This other word, happiness, I don't know, I'm not a big fan. Maybe it's an age thing, I don't know, but I'm a fan of significance, of meaningfulness. If you want to talk about greatness, greatness, by the way, is not about your happiness. Greatness is about your ability and willingness to serve other people, even and especially when it's not convenient and not easy and not fun. Can you bring significance to other people's lives? Can you bring meaning? Can you help people to make choices in their lives so that their lives become great? And in turn, your life becomes great for the greatness that you instilled and inspired in other people. I think too much has been made of happiness. So I want to give you superpowers, all right? Because it's all nice to talk about daring and greatness and all these things, ranting and raving, whatever. But we need some very concrete ideas and approaches to go after this thing, all right? So we're coming to the end of the year, the end of the calendar year. We have that opportunity, right? Some of you have already made promises to yourself. Here's how this is going to go to next year. Here's what I'm going to do differently. Here are the promises I've made. And if you've ever been somebody that has made New Year's resolutions, like I was in the past, you know that by February, March, kind of a dead thing. Nobody's got the willpower, the discipline, or the energy to stay up at that level for 365 days. And if you give me 365 days to reach a goal, I'll start thinking about it in November. So for me, I run my life in 12 weeks. I run my life in 12-week periods, and right now I'm thinking about, I've been working on what next year is going to be in order for me to get all the things that I want to get and all the things that I want to give to other people and encapsulate it in a 12-week period. So superpower number one is clarity. This may seem obvious to you, and some of you may have heard me talk about this before, but here's the deal. If you're not clear about where you're going, you will end up somewhere, and it probably won't be the place you want to be. You must get clear, and I mean every category. I'm not saying you have to be great at every category. I'm not saying you have to be 110%, but I'm saying you have to understand, who do I want to hang out with? Who's got the kind of energy I want? How am I going to start my day? How am I going to finish my day? For me, I had to get rid of my phone because I would go to bed with it. And of course, what do you do when you go to bed with your phone? You scroll for an hour instead of going to sleep. You don't have peacefulness. You're all amped up. If you're allowed to go to bed without your phone, do it. So I leave my phone in my office. I go to sleep. I fall asleep very quickly, and I wake up without my phone. If my phone is not with me, I just get up immediately and I start moving. And one of my coaches said, look, don't touch your phone for the first 2 to 3 hours of the day. Now you have to decide, how does this fit with your life and make the proper adjustments. But for me, it's like, oh, get out of bed immediately. Start moving immediately. I've already gotten a whole day's amount of work done in the first 2 to 3 hours before I've even looked at the phone. I deleted Instagram off my phone. I deleted my apps, my App Store app off of my phone. Why? Because I identified the distractions for me. Look, I know I'm an addict, and maybe you are too. And everyone's got their addiction of preference. And if you put Instagram or social media or whatever in front of me, especially that kind of stuff, Twitter, Instagram, I will spend hours on it. So I know I have to get clear. What do I want? What do I not want? What is it I need to stop doing? I'm super excited about next year, and partly because I'm setting myself up to get things done in a big way. I have a monster year coming up next year, and you could be too. So you have to stack the deck in your favor. You have to dare to do something different. Because if everything you are doing now already got you greatness, number one, you wouldn't be on this call. And number two, you wouldn't have to change anything. So if you want to be great, however you define that, and you're not there yet, then you have to do something different. You have to. So the first superpower is clarity. And one of the ways we go about that is to ask ourselves these questions. Who am I? What do I want? How am I going to get it? People have heard me talk about this before. It's so critical. Who am I? What do I want? How am I going to get it? And answer those questions as specifically as possible. The fourth question I usually tell my audience is the killer question. And the killer question is, how am I lying to myself? Because your biggest problem is you, and my biggest problem is me. And in that context, self-sabotage is the thing that keeps killing us. Because we keep lying to ourselves and justifying and rationalizing and putting off and putting off and putting off. You know what? That's not where greatness goes. People who are great don't do those things. It doesn't mean that people are working every single minute. It doesn't mean that they never relax. It means that they understand the ebb and flow of their life. And they do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. So you get clear about your weight. How many pounds specifically do you want to weigh? What is your blood pressure? What time do you wake up in the morning? What time do you go to bed at night? I have friends who make fun of me that I go to bed at 8:30 most of the time. Why did I do that? Because I can wake up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Why do I do that? Because that's when writing gets done. And the same people look at me and say, oh my God, you've written 20 books. How did you do that? I did that when you were making fun of me for going to bed at 8:30 at night. I set the conditions for my own achievement. You do the same thing. Forget about what people think about you, right? People who are working at that level of energy, people who are working at that level of pettiness, you don't need to pay attention to them because they're not on the same path that you are. Superpower number 2, focus. For those of you on the call who are in dispatch, the nature of the beast of dispatch most of the time is it's chaos. It's kind of like life, right? You have moments of boredom punctuated by sheer chaos. And the fact of the matter is, you may not have control over the way or the amount of time you get to focus. And you know what this is like. You make mistakes because you're juggling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. You're looking at 5, 6, 8 screens. It's impossible to focus in the way I'm talking about in that job, which means when you get off the job at home, you must think about focus because you're going to get much more done at home and feel better about yourself and get more things done if you focus. I can get a mountain amount of work done in 1 hour of uninterrupted time. Except if that time is interrupted, it will take me 2 hours or 3 hours to do 1 hour's worth of work. So while I'm thinking about it, let me mention this. Not every hour of your day is created equal. You know that. At 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you want to take a nap. At 8 o'clock in the morning when you just woke up, or 6 o'clock in the morning when you just woke up, you're fresh and good to go. So you have to protect that time to get done the things that you want to get done and say no to people and go away if you can and shut the door and turn off the phone and whatever you're allowed to do in your environment, do it. And don't make apologies to people. You know why? Most people around you are jealous. If you could have the ability to do that, they would be jealous. Why? Because they can't do it. Third superpower, consistency. If you want to write a book, if you want to play music, if you want to learn a foreign language, if you want to lose weight, if you want to get in shape, if you want to fill in the blank, whatever, you have to do what you're doing consistently. During my keynotes, I play the harmonica. And I get somebody after the keynote or after class comes up to me and says, I'm playing the harmonica too, and I play every Saturday. I was like, dude, you can't learn to play the harmonica every Saturday. It's not enough. If you do something 15 minutes a day, but you do it every single day or at least 6 times a week, you will get much better than the person that spends 3 hours every Saturday. Because you need that consistency. When you combine clarity, where am I going? What am I doing? Why am I doing it? With focus, here's the time that I'm going to do it. And I can do it on a regular basis. You will become the hero of your own life, guaranteed. I learned how to play the guitar 15 minutes at a time. And it may not strike your head that way, like, oh, that sounds strange. Do it. You want to get something done, do something 15 minutes, 30 minutes at a time. And related to all this is what I call jam sessions. Jam sessions have nothing to do with music. If you can set aside a piece of time, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, to focus and tell people you're not allowed to bother me. I used to put a sign on my office door that said, interview in progress. Nobody would bother me. And in 2 hours, I could get a boatload of work done. What is it you want to get done? Can you set up the conditions under which you can work on that thing? And then can you set up time on a regular basis? One thing that drives me crazy, I hear this in all kinds of industries, is I give my people, I have an open door policy. And they can ask me anything they want, anytime they want. And my first reaction is, stop doing that. Because you're just training them to expect to get what they want, when they want, how they want, and answer their question and give them your time. And But you can't do that. Why? Because you need focus. You need consistency. They need to wait. They can be patient. You need to close your door. You need to step away. You need to tell people no. So those three superpowers, clarity, focus, consistency, if you dare to introduce those three things into your life, greatness is within grasp. If you dare to do those three things, by the way, they're not easy. They are not easy because it means you have to get out of your comfort zone. It means you have to make new decisions. It means you might have to say goodbye to some people. It means you may need to wake up at a different time. It means that you might have to start eating different kinds of food. It means you're going to have to figure out new tools for your stress management. So, how daring are you willing to be? Are you willing to be Harry Potter? A kid who would seem to be always in action. That kid was always moving. And he was moving with a goal in very specific ways against specific challenges, even when he was scared. The fourth bonus superpower is gratitude. When you think of all the things, when you feel all the things that you have to be grateful for, and you do this exercise on a regular basis, you can do just 3 things every single day. Well, after 10 days, you start running out of things, which means that you have to deepen the level of gratitude that you have for everything around you. Like today, we can gather people on a computer, people who are sitting, I think Indonesia's here, I think Saudi Arabia is here. There's all kinds of people around the world who are on this call. Let's be grateful for that. Let's be grateful for the amount of time that we can spend together talking. Grateful for the people that grow our food. I was in California last week driving through agriculture country, and saw all these migrant workers breaking their backs to pick lettuce. And you can't help but drive through that territory and say, wow, you know what? I'm grateful. Honestly, I'm grateful that I'm in a position where I don't have to do that. But I'm also grateful that they're there to do it. And grateful that that food grows out of the dirt. And the trucks were designed to haul that stuff to market. All that, go on and on and on and on. You will find countless things to be grateful for. So I have a short amount of time, 2 minutes left, and I want to wind it up with superpowers, right? Number 1, clarity. Number 2, focus. Number 3, consistency. Number 4, gratitude. I started with a couple of quotes, and I came across these 2 quotes that we can end with. One is Winston Churchill said, "You will never reach your destination. You will never reach your destination if you stop to throw stones at every dog that barks." You will never reach your destination if you stop to throw stones at every dog that barks at you. In other words, stop paying attention. Stop paying attention to these naysayers, to these people who are pessimistic, criticizing, gossiping, whatever. Why? Because they don't know what they're doing. You have to follow your path. The last quote is this: the only life path is the one behind you. The only life path, that's the one that has already been trodden. You've already walked that path. You get to choose. You get to choose what path is it that you want to walk going forward. So I hope this is a good start, kickoff to Dare to Be Great. Daring is hard. Daring is hard. The question is, you willing to do it? Are you willing to pick up the mantle of people that went before you and were great and made things possible for you because they were great? And now, how are you going to enrich and enhance your own life using your greatness to help other people become great? That's basically the definition of leadership. If you want to be a leader, go do it. If you don't, step out of the way because some of us are coming through. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you have a fantastic week. I love Ricardo and Dare to Be Great, and I'm so grateful for the invitation to be a part of this. Have a great time.
Oh man. Well done, bro. That was really, really, really good. If you get a chance, or maybe you were looking at it during the time, but you have to go back and look at the comments, especially with Selena up there saying, "Miss your face, Joe, STFU, and be brave." That is a
Yes,
that's a ranch thing. If you want to explain,
yes, that's a ranch thing. So I don't, who said that?
Selena.
It was Selena. Selena's awesome. Selena's amazing. And talk about somebody who's daring and who's heading for her greatness. I love what she's got coming up. And she's like, look, I'm scared silly and I'm nervous, but I'm going to go do this thing. Just like Juliette Brown, just like all these other people that I've met, Roxy, all these people I've met along the way who have come out to the ranch. So, very quickly, some of you may know I run a program at a ranch outside San Antonio for 911 dispatchers. It's a leadership event. Ricardo is my closer. He's can't have a better closer than him. He's amazing. He does
I
Imagine
appreciate
Listening
it.
at the end of the week. So during one of the sessions, I don't know when it was, last year, I guess, I wrote in big letters on the whiteboard in the room, STFU. And everybody knows, or everybody thinks they know what that means. All right? And this is just like life. You get to choose. You get to choose almost everything these days. STFU stands for So Thankful for You. That's what it is. And that became the name of our Facebook group for that class at the ranch. And we make fun about it. And we have this, I talk about my Sicilian father. And it's like, hey, yeah, shut the fuck up. All that. But the fact of the matter is you get to choose. Are you going to be grateful or are you going to be whiny? Are you going to be grateful or are you going to be an obstacle in the way to the greatness of your comm center or your organization, whatever industry you're in? We move from the inside out. You get to choose. Are you going to be great and help other people be great or not? Like, that's it. Let me finish on this. You operate out of love, you operate out of fear. That's it. You show up being of assistance to other people or resistance. That's it. You're going to be one or the other. So commit. And if you commit to fear and you commit to resistance, great. Then we know where you stand. Then we don't have to waste time with you. Because the rest of us are doing our best to operate out of love. We're doing our best to be of assistance to other people because we want meaningfulness and significance for our lives. That's what daring and greatness is about. To me, that's what this whole program is about. And I thank Ricardo. I'm grateful for Ricardo and the work he's done over the last 4 or 5 years to help people realize their own greatness.
Thank you, man. Damn. I appreciate that very much. You and I have been working on a lot of stuff as well, and just in some of the conversations, just really, really, really good conversations. And I see a lot of people here in the comments as well, talking about the ranch, like, I want to get there, I want to get there. Yes, you do. And you better be watching out for that list because that shit gets, sold out
Uh,
fast.
yeah,
Yes.
we're at the point right now where it sells out a year in advance. So we added a new one. I think I mentioned to you. So we
Mhm.
typically run the ranch March and September. We ran a new one for November next year. We haven't even announced it yet. All of the uh, all of the what do you call them? Waiting list
Mhm.
from March and September have basically filled up November. I have like maybe 10 slots left for November of next year. So it's ridiculous. It's a train. I can't like locomotives running crazy down the tracks. It's filling up
Well,
like mad all the time.
it
But
is definitely a unique experience, and if you get the chance, please do so. And I'm honored to be able to close it out when I've been there. So thank you for that opportunity.
let
It
me
has always
mention
been an excellent time.
let me thank you for saying that. And just saw Selena. The ranch is life-changing experience, and I've met some of the most amazing leaders there. And she's, she's somebody who's on that path, and that's awesome. We're going to introduce a new ranch next year, May of 2024. I don't remember the dates offhand. It's called the Changing Culture Workshop, and it's going to be the facilitators are directors and managers from comm centers who have figured out how to do this and how to do it great and how to think about culture and how to introduce change into culture. We will not be accepting dispatchers into that program. It's only for supervisor and above people that can make change, that can influence change in their comm center. So that's going to be May. Oh, Amy, thank you. Amy, 19 to 23. It's awesome to have Amy on my team because she does stuff like this, comes to the rescue. So we are going to announce that soon, and we'll let you know, and we'll let Ricardo know. Ricardo can announce it, and we'll get the word out. But when we do these ranches, there's only 30 or 40 spots, so they fill up fast.
Yes,
Thanks
and
for having me.
yeah, of course. And
Yeah.
really quick, just to reiterate, that one is a specific one, as he said, but the rest of them is dispatchers, call takers, and everything. And there's so many different things going on. But again, the unique experience, walking back from eating or spending time in the saloon or whatever, and hearing like a huff, and then turn around and see a ram there is like one of the coolest things. But also like, I respect you, ram. Don't ram me. Like,
I respect you, Ram.
yes. But,
Listen. Let me
always a
just
good time.
say, look, if you don't want to go horseback riding, you don't have to come to the ranch. If you don't want to hang out in the saloon with people and karaoke and dance through the night, then you shouldn't come to the ranch. And if you don't want a steak that's the size of Texas and we have barbecues and cookout, you don't want to come to that. I mean, it could be boring for some people. I get that. So, don't think about it, but we'll be suffering under those conditions while you're at home.
There you go. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much, man, for being here and for being the opening keynote. This was an excellent, excellent message. And just again, if you get a chance, blow through those comments because there's a lot of chat in there. There's just good, good stuff. So, again,
Oh, wait,
thank
wait,
you.
wait, wait,
Huh?
wait, wait. I cannot stop. And I just looked at the comments, and Steve Turchin says, "It is horrible. Stay away from the ranch." And everybody has to know he's being sarcastic. He
Oh,
was
yes.
he was he was at the ranch with us, and he had a great time. Mr. Entertainment got up during the karaoke, and he belted out some tunes. So
Yeah,
I'm
every
watching.
single one of us,
I'm
actually.
watching those. I'm watching those comments, Steve Turchin. Have a
Oh, that
great
is
week,
awesome.
guys. Have a
Yes,
great time.
everybody, thank you so much. We're gonna be heading over to the next session that's gonna start here at about 10:45 or so, and it's gonna be with Dr. Andre Jones, and he's gonna be talking about fostering a purpose-driven culture in the ECC. We will see you all in the next one.